Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. First thing that I want to talk about is last episode we did some of the backstory things, and those are fairly common throughout the game from what I've seen. So here are my two potential solutions, and if you have a preference, please tell me in the comments below. I would very much like to know. First one is we just do it as we were doing there. We just do it as we come across them. We just read it, no problems. Second one is we read it kinda afterwards. Like we'll read it at the end of the episode. I'll read it for me when we find it, and then at the end of the episode I'll put it in if it's not directly relevant to the story at hand. That's pretty much it. If you have a preference, please tell me below. I think I'm leaning towards the putting it at the end of the episode one, but we will see. Anyway, we have to level up 3 characters. Let's level up ourselves first, because we're fairly... we know ourselves. So we're going to have mechanics. Mechanics is the best one for us, because that's what we want to have. And we also want to have stealth. And we have 1 point. I think we may just want to keep this point. Yeah, I think we'll keep the point. We'll have stealth and mechanics going up. Next one is we get a rogue ability. Okay, so crippling strike is the other one we could have taken at the start of the game. It's kind of like blinding strike, but you can use it twice, and instead of blind it does hobbled. Reckless assault causes the rogue to dive into battle without a second thought, lowering his or her deflection but increasing her accuracy and weapon damage. Oh, I did look this up, by the way. Every kind of dice roll in the game is a D100, or at least the one for crits, or the one for hitting. And how it works is if you roll a D100, you add your accuracy minus their whatever they're defending with, deflection, reflex, doesn't matter. And then if that is over 75, I think, then it's a crit. So by default, if we hit something with no defense, we will always crit. Well, pretty much, we'll always crit if we roll above a 19. So, yeah. And then, yeah, you can work it out from there. There's a lot of good stuff happening there. We will crit an awful lot. But increased accuracy is pretty cool. This is plus 8, so that would put us at 67, which means that they would have, if they have no deflection, no reflex, no defenses, we would have to roll less than an 8 on a D100. So it's an 8 in 100 chance, 2 in 25 chance of, of not critting. So that's pretty good. However, it does also lower our deflection, which means that we'll get hit more, but we get more melee damage, which is also pretty nice. Might be more useful later when we can guarantee not being hit. Escape allows us to break engagement and expertly avoid the next attack. Could be useful. Dirty fighting. The rogue employs a variety of underhand tactics, turning some of their hits into crits. So 10% of our hits would be turned into crits. This is pretty cool because that would mean that even if we don't always crit, we're almost guaranteed a hit no matter what. Unless their deflection is like significantly above our number, we're almost guaranteed a hit every time. So what we're going to go for is we're going to go for this, dirty fighting. I don't know if I explained that the best I could have, but hopefully you got the gist of it. Basically, it's because we have so much accuracy, they would need to have a fairly large defense. Like, I mean, the kind of damage reduction we're getting as a rogue is like 4 plus 5. We're maybe at 9. So maybe like, we'd get plus 49 to our D100, and we have to roll above 50 to get a hit. So, it's fairly likely that we're going to hit, and not uncommon to crit. Okay. Aloth, we know you a little bit better, but not completely. I think we're going to put stuff in lore. In fact, we can just go all the way up on lore. No problem. And now we get second level spells. Is this our first set of second level spells? I think it is. Okay. What do we want? What do we want him to be able to do? Let's think about a fight that we've got. So we've got me as kind of single target damage. We got Palxa over there. He's going to be going after one person, critting them a lot. We've got Edir, who is going to be our warrior, and he's going to be very focused around kind of standing there, taking the damage, trying to CC some people. So he's not really going to be our damage. I think we need some area of effect damage from you. Okay, let's see what we got. Is there a way to just hover without selecting? Doesn't appear to be. Okay. So, Bewildering Spectacle creates a bizarre and perplexing visual distraction. Okay. Blinding Web. This one sticks people inside a web. Okay. Bulwark against the elements. Just a kind of general defense spell. Not that useful right now. Combusting Wounds. Causes enemy wounds in the area of effect to ignite. Okay. That's interesting. What's that? Conocel Tots. Corrosive Siphon. So this does corrosive damage, that converting that essence into endurance for the caster. So this is kind of like a heal for ourselves. That could be really useful, actually. Could be very, very useful. Curse of Blackened Sight. Blind someone. We already have a blind. Fetid Caress. Target becomes paralyzed, afflicted with boiling pustules of foul-smelling liquid that erupt from their skin, sickening those nearby. Sickening, sorry. I was thinking sickening sounded even worse. It reduces all attributes by 1. Okay. Interesting. Infused with Vital Essence. Infuses the caster with vitality, giving them temporary increase to max endurance and health. So this is only for the caster, it's not a heal. It's a self-heal. Okay. And it's only on max stuff. Merciless Gaze. The caster becomes able to see an enemy's weakness and vulnerabilities as though they were physically tangible, increasing the chance of landing a critical hit. Okay. Could be useful later. A lot of these could be useful later. Heavy fog settles in the area that dulls the mind, so it kind of lowers mind-based things, perception, intelligence, resolve. Okay. Mirror Image. Gives plus deflection until hit. That's pretty useful. Necrotic Lance. Damage over time spell. Ray of Fire. Creates a scorching ray of fire between the caster and the target, inflicting continual burn damage to the target and anyone caught in their way. That could be really useful. Rolling Flame creates a rebounding ball of flame, inflicting burn damage upon anyone in its path. I think we want Ray of Fire and Rolling Flame. And those are what we're looking for right now. We don't really need him to have any debuffs, we just need him to do damage. And then we are on Edier. Edier, what do we want with you? Probably something like Athletics. Okay, what does it do? Once per encounter, you use a second wind ability to recover lost endurance. A high athletics score makes it better. Okay, yeah, it could be really useful. And actually, the survival one could be quite useful, although really you just want damage reduction. So yeah, I guess we'll go athletics and survival here. So just kind of focus something like this. We'll just keep them even. That works. Okay, then we get to his class unlocks. By class unlocks, I of course mean talents, because we have no new class unlocks. So what kind of talents are we after here? Let's see what he's got as a warrior, as his default stuff. Fighter, I mean, not warrior. Grants the fighter additional use of knockdown per encounter. Could be useful. Usually you only get 2 per encounter, so that would give him 3. Could be useful. And rapid recovery. Boosts the fighter's hardiness, increasing the rate of his or her constant recovery. What's constant recovery? Recovery is the amount of time that a character spends between actions. Longer actions result in proportionally longer recovery. Okay, so what this would do is this would mean that you can like have less time between actions. And wait, modifies constant recovery, so it then gives endurance over X amount of time. That's actually really good, right? So that would give 5.9 endurance per 3 seconds as a passive. So you're just constantly getting endurance back. That sounds invaluable. Like, if that's what that is. Yeah. So that's just really useful for a tank. We'll definitely take that. Next one, more points in survival, more points in athletics. The reason we want to keep putting them in survival is because we can get the second rank of damage reduction, which will be really useful. Now we get class unlock. Defender. Fighter adopts a more conservative combat strategy, concentrating on locking down enemies that stray too close. The fighter increases his or her number of engagement targets to 3, but at the expense of deflection. So you lose 5 deflection, but you can then, defend against 3 people. Pretty useful. Confident aim. This means that 20% of our grazes are converted to hits. Okay, so what this means is basically a graze is, I believe, on the chart, something like 25 to 50 on a D100 roll for hitting. So and it does, I think, 75% damage. It might be 25% damage. It's one or the other. It does much less than a hit. So this gives you like a 1 in 5 chance of just making that a hit, which then means that you do a lot more damage. Could be useful. What does it say? Oh, there we go. 50%. Yeah, it's either 25 or 75. It's 50. Okay. But yeah, there we go. And between 16 and 50. Wow. Yeah, the information on the wiki is slightly off, but according to that. Okay, well that's fine. Don't care. Disciplined Barrage. Fighter intensely focuses his or her training, significantly increasing their accuracy for a short time. Yeah. No, we're not building that kind of fighter, really. We're more building a tank. Guardian Stance. The fighter devotes all his or her energy to defending allies, lowers accuracy but increases deflection of nearby allies. That's really useful. We should probably take Guardian Stance. There we go. Cool, we're all set up. Now, let's check what you've got on you. I think you're fine. Oh, you've got a thing. Well, second chance. Every rest you'll just get revived with 30 endurance if you fall down. Cool. Eora wore this armor during his time in the Saints' War. Its dark color is unusual as its power. Though he admits the armor has pulled him from the brink of death on several occasions, he claims that no one else has ever handled the armor. How it came to be enchanted is a mystery even to him. Okay. He uses a saber and a medium shield and has a warbow. Okay, I don't think we have anything else that he would need, so we're gonna head out.
Yeah?
Head out this way, I think. Actually, I think we should investigate the town first. I was gonna head directly out into the wilderness, but I think the town's probably better. So let's have a look at this place. We got Urfra's house, we got Blackhound. So the Blackhound Inn's probably the furthest left. So we probably want to go something like that house, that house, that house, that house. These ones, that one, that one, that. Something like that. And go around like that. So let's head up here. Let's see what's going on in town. Just want to, say hello to everybody.
Yeah?
Also just
Ready when you
checking, why is he running in the front? That doesn't seem like the best plan. Probably want this kind of formation.
Not a problem.
Just want to set it up now so we don't get into problems here. So whoever's on the left is the one in the center. So we want to move Eora to the left.
Hey.
So when we walk along, Eora gets to be at the front. Good. That's how it should be. Just want to check around the back here. A couple of people, not important, I guess. Alright. And let's head into the house. I think we're fine walking into houses. No problem. Hello, Ofra, and your cat. A Dyrwoodian woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Hail, traveller.
Well, finally, I was starting to think. The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Well, I just arrived in Gilded Vale. I thought I'd get to know the locals. Were you with one of the caravans? She looks at you hopefully. Master Demas by chance? Yeah, I was, but I'm afraid the rest of the caravan was killed. Ofra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kaliska was always so certain she could take on any danger. Ofra sniffs. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I just can't believe she's gone. Yet she abandoned us, took all of our supplies, and got herself killed. It's her own fault. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her, she might still be alive, somewhere. Ofra's face crumples. A solitary tear slides down her cheek. Well, let's try and find out some more. Why did you send for her? Ofra wipes her at her eyes. I'm worried about the baby. About the legacy. I told Kaliska as much as I could. But all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless. Empty. Yeah, we heard. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Rederick, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavour, she sniffs. With my Hathhort gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home too. I hoped Kaliska could help me. They say Ragna, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn, but she moved south to Anslog's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am. But I don't have anyone else now, with Kaliska gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? So there would be some things if we were a kind wayfarer or a gold-packed knight. I think gold-packed knight is paladin. Don't know what kind wayfarer was. I think it might be maybe another paladin thing. Anyway, I'll find Ranga for you. Ofra blinks, eyes wide. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of, well, I'm not sure. It shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. Well, we got 20 copper. It's not a lot, but it's nice. Anslog's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying myself, she clasps her hands together. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. Oh, cool. We got a new quest. Let's talk to her again.
Gods keep you.
I hope Ragna agrees to help. I honestly don't know what else I can do. Well, before I go, is there anything you can tell me about Gilded Vale? I can certainly try. What would you like to know? Tell me about the village. Let me think. We're farmers mostly. But there has always been work and opportunity for people coming in from elsewhere. In the old days, at least. The Black Hammer Smithery's been here for a long time. That's Tautuanu's place, south of the mill. And then there's a Black Hound just away south of here. She sighs, trailing off. I have to admit, I don't go out much anymore with that horrible tree out there. Things aren't like they used to be, but I don't have anywhere else to go. Whose lands are these? These are Lord Rederick's, but I want to see what she says. The Rederick family has held title over these lands for generations. Their keep is northeast of here, past the Eastern Wood. I wouldn't go near, mind. He doesn't see visitors or petitioners, not these days. Some people say, well, that there are some bad seeds in that line. A weaker soul, maybe that's why. She hesitates. Well, never mind. I'm sure Lord Rederick has his reasons. I don't have any more questions. I'll be going. Cool. That was very useful. We got a quest. Right, we got a quest. Let's head on out here. Next place we're going is down to this building, I think. Now, if I remember right, it is always worth walking up to the exits of the town and just clicking on them, because that unlocks any exits that would be that direction from the town. Hello? Oh, he's just a person. Okay. There were no exits from this side, but still worth doing. Okay. This one doesn't look like it has an entrance, this building. Ooh, flower. Go get it. Right, keep going round. Now, I know this is the temple of whatever his name, that Edir is about. But we should probably go in there at some point as well. Blacksmith. Maybe we'll leave that for the end, going in there. Yeah, it's the blacksmith we were just told about. Okay, let's go speak to him. Tautanu. This Amua man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome! You're the first new faces I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be. But we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet, all forged right here at Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now, and I haven't seen a sight of it. Have to expect they were hit hard by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off the wagon themselves, maybe, to make some coin. Totanu snorts, as if that lot would dare. He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in a village like this, and the exodus to the cities, has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Totanu stretches his jaw, thinking, if only you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for the supply wagon, or my shipment at least. They'd be cutting through Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Roderick. Totanu glances at the nearby guard. And that's how it should be. But it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We don't have the iron. Where's the wagon travelling from? We sent the wagon up to New Heomar with weapons, and it swings around through Logholm and the like to purchase supplies. Shortest route back is through the Black Meadow and north through the wilds. Totanu shakes his head. Had a trader come through with word they'd made it to Logholm, but I haven't heard a thing since. Well, I'll go get him for you. We'll see him back safe and sound. I appreciate you trying, anyhow. You bring back the supplies at least, and I'll have much more to offer you. A discount to start. If you find my workers, I'll give you a good... You give them a good smack upside the head for me. Okay. Cool, we'll go find his workers. Who have we got? We got some people to talk to. Right. Let's do that. As you near, you feel a vibrant history contained in the essence of this man's souls. Voices from the past seem to call out to you. You see a man crouching, surreptitious and alone, a series of untamed shrubs, all that hides him from the vision ahead. His eyes are locked on a delicate man, beautiful and terrible, eyes half lidded as she hums. A bird with fantastic blue and orange plumage sits on her shoulder, trilling gently, and the man is entranced. Trembling, tentative, he stands, and the tranquility is broken by the bird's startled squawk. The delicate man half smiles, beckoning with twig-like fingers. She does not speak as he approaches. His mouth is dripping sounds of awe and admiration. She waits, coy and tempting. With agonizing slowness, he is before her. Then, something changes. She sees something hang limply from his side and begins to hiss. Fingers suddenly claws and eyes black with hate. He has no time to reach for his axe or grimoire as he strikes, but as soon as she strikes she is gone, the only evidence of her existence, the shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs at his grimoire and nevertheless begins to chant, but the words of a magical language of his own imagining scribbled in a maniacal shorthand ring hollow, and the silence continues unabated. He turns and shrugs at something or someone. But if there is something there, you do not see it. Okay, so what we got here is we got somebody who is like looking at a Delegman. I don't know what a Delegman is. There's a bird on her shoulder. He smiles. Then when he approaches, he changes. He sees something hanging limply from his side and begins to hiss. Okay, so she sees his grimoire, presumably, or his axe. Then she strikes, and then she disappears. Okay. The only evidence of her existence is a shuddering wreck on the ground. He grabs the grimoire nonetheless and begins to chant. Okay. And he's silenced, because the silence continues unabated. Turns and shrugs at something or someone, but if there's something you do not see? Wait. Let's do it. What was this? Did it say this thing striked him? Something's hanging limply from the side. Suddenly, claws and eyes black with hate. He's no time to reach for his axe as she strikes. Oh, this sounds like he was possessed, right? because he got hit by the he got hit by this thing. It disappeared, and then he turns and shrugs and talks to something that isn't, or like at something that isn't there. That definitely sounds like he got some sort of possession thing happening. That's yeah, that's not good for him. And the other one? You see a group of adventurers surrounded by a crowd of attacking Zurups. This man is with them, seemingly unconcerned by the battle, even detached from it as he stands in the middle of his comrades chanting, his expression bordering on elation. His voice is powerful and deep, booming out across the combatants as a rich counterpoint to the chaos of their fighting. With every phase, their battlefield changes. His allies glow with a pulsing blue light, freezing the Zurups that surround them. A blazing pyre erupts from the ground, cutting and burning the creatures and sending them scattering. One of the falling Zurups suddenly explodes as 3 giant grubs crawl from its corpse and attack the remaining enemies. The man continues to chant, thoroughly enthralled in the joy of the moment. Finally, the creatures have been reduced to 1. His allies stand back as the man approaches it, still chanting. He removes his hammer and swings at the Zurup. His phrase ends as the hammer connects with its head, punctuating the spell and bringing his song to an end. Oh, okay. Right. Let's see what else we've got. I really didn't want to do that. I wanted to press that one. I was doing divinity buttons. So this would be that's stealing. This is not stealing. This one is not stealing. Okay, what's he got up here? He's got a book, which is glitching out. So we'll just take that and we'll move on. Okay, let's go read what this book, now that it's no longer glitching. That's not the right book. Daily affirmations of focus and efficiency. Number 1. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abridon rebuilt himself from ruin. No setback is insurmountable, not even death itself, as long as the soul is dedicated to the task. Work hard, work well. Abidon demands only honest labour and forthright service. All errors can be reforged if your first intentions are pure. All ignorance can be reforged into knowledge. Master your craft, excel at what you have been trusted to do. No, do not offend your teacher by remaining a student forever. Each generation must forge its successors. Teach your trade to all those who are willing to learn, and in doing so multiply the fruits of your knowledge. All difficulties can be reforged into triumphs. Meet strife with humility and acceptance. Let adversity temper the ingot of your will, and you will never shatter. Embrace your station. Fulfill the duties of your rank and meddle not in the affairs of your betters. All guilds fail at their weakest link. All loss can be reforged into strength. Profitable work heals all emptiness. So long as you have the tools of your trade, you will always be able to forge wealth anew. Value the works of others, and they will value your works in return. Share the harvest with the hungry, and your tools with the destitute. All souls can be reforged into what we will. Hard work is not exclusive to life. Death is no time for complacency. Commit yourself to excellence in this cycle and the next. Interesting philosophy.
Quick and quiet.
Once again, I meant to use tab. I want to see if there was anything else we could look at. I think that's it. Okay. I think we're allowed to loot books. They want you to see the lore. Okay, next building is up here, I think. There's this road east, windmill. So it's Ingrot's house is the next one. Okay. Ooh, box. What's in it? Some ale. Definitely grab the ale and the beer. Okay. So we've got Nonton. We met him earlier. And we met him outside with the bear, I think. And then we've got Ingrot. Anything, just quick survey. So we're allowed to take anything we want here. Cool. Let's quickly have a look. Oh, another book. The Dyrwood Part 2, The Broken Stone War. Cool. And then we got this up here. Bottle of Sonred is half empty. Let's read the book. So what's the previous one we got? We got Part 1. This is The Broken Stone War. In 2626 A1, a group of farmers, while clearing farmland for planting, accidentally knocked down one of the ancient Adra menhirs on their land. This innocent act drew the ire of the native population and started what would come to be known as the Broken Stone War. When it was finally over, several thousand colonists had been killed, as well as several hundreds of the Glenfathans. Even though the war was technically over, the Glenfathans escalated their attacks on the settlers over the next 2 years using vicious tactics that left many colonists, several military figures, an earl and 6 thanes dead. Unable to stop the Glenfathan attacks, the earls elected El Hadrang Hadrit to the position of Gref. Well respected and known to be a master of military tactics, he was tasked with dealing with the Glenfathan threat. Edrang fought with the Glenfathans, led by an Orlan named Regd, for the next 2 years. Neither side can gain the upper hand on the other, resulting in a tense stalemate between the two groups. Because of this stalemate, the hostilities slowly died off, and in 2631 the Dyrwoodian people signed a treaty with the Glenfathans. Regd would step down and the Glenfathans would stop their attacks altogether, and the Dyrwoodian people would leave the ruins alone. This treaty angered the nobility in Adir, as it has brought a halt to the supplies of artifacts. Edrang also tried to get the practice of slavery outlawed, but this was not successful. Because of this, the peace between the Dyrwood and the Glenfath is uneasy and tumultuous. Small patches of rural violence still cropped up, but were easily dealt with as neither side wanted another war. Okay, so this is how we got the don't go in the ruins talk. Let's go open this. Oh, never mind. This man and woman appear to be deep in conversation, working at closing 2 bulging satchels. They move to embrace until the woman notices your approach and pauses, her smile faltering a little.
Good day, stranger.
Can we help you? She looks to her companion, brows furrowing with confusion. Do you know this man Naunton? Naunton coughs. Yes, I think we met in Dyrwood. I warned him about the bear. He inclines his head. Glad to see you made it. Was there something you wanted? You seem to be in good spirits for someone who just lost a friend. I think that's unkind of you to say. I'm grieving my husband, and in this fashion, I'm only sorry I could not convince him to leave Gilded Vale before this happened. I'm relieved to be rid of this terrible place, that's all. It's cost me the greater part of my life, and now my husband, I'm glad to be free of it. You seem to be in a hurry. I imagine so. Ingrod laughs. We're packing for a trip, actually. I've been meaning to visit Defiance Bay and... She looks at Naunton. Well, in truth, I think I've had my fill of this town. So her husband's just died, and she's, hooking up with Naunton, who was on a trip with her husband? Not suspicious at all. Naunton reaches to take her hand. It's time for some new scenery, he says. Can you tell me anything about Gilded Vale? Ingrot smiles wearily. Only that you'll want to be moving it on as soon as you can. You'll have seen the tree, I imagine, but the rot goes deeper. If you're looking for work, I'd say you have a better chance of it elsewhere. We're headed for Defiance Bay ourselves, Naunton adds. Oh, that was Naunton. Never mind. We'll leave. Okay. I think we want to check out the bear. I definitely want to check out the bear. That does not seem right to me. Set up here. Check out all the... Wait. We didn't loot our house. Sorry, forgot to take your stuff. I need your crossbow and I need your copper. Thank you. Right, let's head out over here. We're going to go into this building, if it's open. It is indeed open. What's at front of it? Got some chew. What have we got here? Villager speaking to villager. Cool. Head on through. Hello, who are you? Eldwin Preston and Kara Iloth. Be stealing to do anything else. Let's talk to them. You see a crowded marketplace, vendor stalls lining the roads and their proprietors' voices calling out to passers-by to come sample their wares. This woman wanders through the throngs, strolling hand in hand with another woman. They pursue the vendor's goods, tarrying at a book merchant with a number of old and beautiful tomes, chatting with one another about what they see. One will pick up a book and show it to the other, who will take it, comment on it, and place it back on the shelf. The first will snatch up the book again and quickly pay the merchant before the other can snatch it back. They walk away from the market, weighed down by packs filled with books, still hand in hand, standing close and comfortable, familiar with each other. As they pass down a somewhat deserted street, an object suddenly hits the woman in the chest and bounces off, rolling away towards one of the buildings. The woman stops and looks at the object, an apple, then back up at the person who threw it. There's nothing special about him apart from the angry look in his face and the other 2 apples he holds. Before either woman can move, the man draws back and throws another one at them, this time hitting the second woman in the forehead. He yells at them something derisive and hateful, something about legacy and about Responsibilities. The woman raises her hand to her head and wipes the juice and bits of fruit from her face and stares the man down defiantly. The first woman squeezes her hand and puts the other on her companion's shoulder, attempting to calm her down. The other woman pulls a book from her pack and holds it before her, muttering under her breath. She pulls her hand free and waves it above the book, an aura forming around her. A wizard? The first woman is still trying to calm her down, but all she says goes unheard. The man, uncaring of the events happening in front of him, draws back and throws the last apple. As it arcs through the air towards them, the second woman brings up her hand and points at the apple. A glowing orb of energy flies from her hand and strikes the apple, causing it to explode, raining bits of apple down on the road and buildings around them. The man's face changes, anger joined by fear, looking like he's trying to decide if running or attacking is the better course of action. The second woman has started chanting again, her hand glowing, her eyes narrowing. This woman steps in front of her, placing herself between her love and their attacker. She touches her face, gently stroking it, while whispering calming words, a kiss. The woman's countenance changes. She calms, her eyes softening, her lips regaining the lost smile. The first woman smiles again as well, and kisses the other. Wizard scum, the man behind them says, and the two women turn to face him, staring him down defiantly. The joined hands begin walking again, moving past him without so much as a sideways glance. Okay. So she would be a wizard. Interesting. Would this be the other wizard, or is this a man? I think it might be a man, but it's hard to tell. Really? This woman's soul. Okay, so this will be the other one, presumably. You see a key turned gently, steady, and hear a ghostly click as the door swings inward. Two figures slip in, locking the door behind them and begin their prowl. The hunt is efficient. It takes them little time to acquire a sizable collection of documents in oddly shaped velvet pouches. Quick hands fill pockets, rucksacks, bags. The door opens downstairs, and everything freezes. Footsteps, a tired giggle. The thieves are all eye whites and short breath as they empty their pockets of all but the necessities. Anything noisy, hurriedly replaced. Silence from downstairs and attentive steps up the staircase. A voice calls out. One thief creeps forward and the other one gesticulating wildly for him to return. He continues forward, crouching by the banister. He sees a gaudy shoe and shoves. The woman falls with a cut-off scream, rolling lifelessly to the floor below. Swearing, the second thief grabs her brother and they make their escape, collecting whatever of value they can on the way out. So she was a thief, then she met up with this other wizard, presumably. Interesting. Assuming they're the same people. Okay, next building. We're going to the mill. Let's head over there. I think that's the last building we've got, because this one doesn't have a door. Yeah, this building doesn't have a door, so this will be our last building to check out. Ooh, what's happening here? We know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through that door gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Signor. I'll put you down like a dog. Come away now, lads. We'll be back. Trumbull, we have fair prices. Or by the flame, we'll have a reckoning. Ooh. Okay. Well, that is interesting. I think that's a good point to end the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.